Alright, my people, it's your favorite teacher here. Today we're going to review graphing lines. Okay, we are going to review graphing lines from what we call the slope-intercept form. Okay, and we kind of talked about this yesterday and on Wednesday. Alright, but again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And the reason we call it the slope-intercept form is because, you guessed it, it's got the slope and the intercept in my equation. Alright, so again, we're dealing with linear equations, and this is what we call the slope-intercept form. Well, why do we call it the slope-intercept form? Because m is your slope. Alright, and another word for slope is the rate of change. So we have the slope. We also have the intercept. Alright, B over here, this little guy over here, is the y-intercept. And again, the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. Okay, the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. You will get a point, and your point will be an x value of 0, and then whatever y value you have in place of b. Because again, it's where we're crossing the y-axis, therefore we're not moving over any, because we have to stay on the y-axis. Okay, your x is your input, and then y is your output. So x is what we're putting in, y is what we're getting out. Okay, x is what we're putting in, y is what we're getting out. We could also say that this is the domain, and y is the range. So again, we call it the slope-intercept form because m is your slope or your rate of change, and b is your y-intercept. Again, y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. You will have a point, and your point will be 0, y, or I guess I could say 0, b, because that number there is going to be how much you're going up or down on the y-axis. Alright, well, let's get right to it. Number 1 says write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. We're given that the slope is 3/4, and we're given that the y-intercept is a negative deuce. Alright, so again, plug in your slope. Your slope is your m, or your rate of change. That goes in right there. Your y-intercept is -2. That's your b. That goes in right there. So my equation would be y equals m, but we know what m is. M is your slope, which is 3/4, x plus b. And again, b is your y-intercept, which is a -2. Man, that's hard, Coach Sapp. I know. Okay, let's get another one. Number 2, same thing. Slope is a -2, y-intercept is a +4. So I've got y equals slope -2, x, and then +4. Okay, some common mistakes, guys, is people forget to put this x here. Do not forget that. Do not forget that. Your slope is the number in front of your x. You have to have that variable right there. You've got to have that variable. You've got to have your input or your domain. Number 3, same thing. Y equals, slope is a -2/3, x, and then y-intercept is a +1. Last one, slope is a -12, x, and the y-intercept is a -1/2. Man. So then we have the equations. Now let's graph them. Okay, so the steps to graph when I'm given my equation, and again our equation is going to be in slope-intercept form today. So when I'm given the equation, we're going to start by graphing the y-intercept. We're going to start by graphing the y-intercept. Okay, and then from there, that's going to become my starting point. Okay, so once I have a point, which would be my y-intercept always, now once I have a point, from there I can use the slope. And again, slope is rise over run. So how much we're going up or down over how much we're going right or left. Slope is rise over run. So I'm going to start with my y-intercept, graph that puppy. There's your first point, and then you're going to go to your slope. You're going to go up or down, over, to the right or to the left. And then there's another point. And then another point, and then another point, and then another point. Alright, so your first example. Y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Alright, so again, this is in slope-intercept form. How do I know that? Because again, the y is by itself. When the y is by itself, it's in slope-intercept form. And we can pull the slope, and we can pull the y-intercept. Because again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So what changed from this one to this one? The y is still the same. There's a number in place of the m. The x is still there. And there's a number in place of the b. Well, again, this is your slope. This is your y-intercept. And again, your y-intercept, guys, is a point. Your y-intercept is a point, and your y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, which means x is going to be 0. Because again, we're not going to go over any. I need to be on this y-axis right here. So I go over 0, and I go down -1. There's my first point. So once I have my starting point, now I go to my slope, which is a positive 2/3. So I'm going to rise 2, and I'm going to run 3. Slope is rise over run. There's your second point. Okay, now it only takes 2 points to make a line, but let's go ahead and graph another one. So from here, if I want to work backwards, I would be going down 2 and to the left 3. So there would be another point on the graph. Three points right there. Okay, so again, if we want to work backwards, make sure that we're going down and to the left, because it's a positive slope. Don't go down and to the right. That would be a negative slope. Your line would be going like this. I look here and it's a positive 2/3. Alright, let's look at some more examples. Number 1, y equals 1/2 x plus 6. Again, these are in slope-intercept form, right? So y equals mx plus b. So m is 1/2, b is a positive 6. And again, b is a point. B is the y-intercept. So I've got the point 0, positive 6. Okay, so that means I'm going to go over 0. There's my x value, and I'm going to go up 6. So go over 0, go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plot that puppy. And then from there, I'm going to take my slope, which is a positive 1/2. Again, slope is rise over run. So I'm going to go up 1/2, up 1/2, up 1/2. And again, if we want to work backwards from the starting point, we're going to go down 1 to the left 2, because it's a positive slope. Down 1 to the left 2. Connect your points. Easy breezy. Number 2, I've got a y-intercept of 0, -4. My slope is positive 3/4. So go ahead and plot 0, -4. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Bada bing, bada boom. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Bang. Connect the dots. I know, I'm no artist, okay? I'm sorry, guys. There we go. My bad. My bad. Number 3. Okay, I've got a slope of positive 2. I've got a y-intercept of 0, 1. Again, you're going to get a point. You don't just have a y-intercept of 1. You've got a point at 0, 1. So plot your first point. Your y-intercept is always your starting point. And then from there, look at your slope. Your slope is 2. Okay, we can write that as 2 over 1. So again, this is rise over run. Make sure that we are running 1. Okay, make sure that we are running 1. So let me graph this and I'll talk a little bit more. So 0, 1, there we go. Now from there I'm going to go rise 2, run 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And again, I can go backwards from this point. So I'll be down 2 to the left 1, down 2, to the left 1, down 2, to the left 1. All right, so there's your graph. And so what I said is this is 2 over 1. I know I didn't write that. Okay, I know it's not given to me, but I know it's 2 over 1. Any whole number is over 1. So what I said is be careful. Don't rise 2 and run 0. That would be the point up here. And if you kept going, you would have a vertical line. Well, obviously, guys, this is not a vertical line. You have a slope. Your slope is a positive 2. Your slope of a vertical line is undefined. So be careful that you're not putting a 0 here on the bottom. You're putting a 1, because any whole number is over 1. Hint, hint on number 6. Alright, let's go to number 4. Number 4, now I have a negative slope. Oh my gosh, Coach Sapp. It's okay, guys, calm down. Your y-intercept is 0, positive 2. And then your slope is a negative 1/2. So again, starting point is your y-intercept. Go ahead and plot that, 0, 2. And now I'm going to go down 1. I'm going to rise negative 1, so I'm going to go down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2, etc., etc. Okay, and again, if I want to work backwards, now I'm going to go up. I'm still going to the left. I'm going backwards. Alright, that's plenty of points. Let's connect those. There's your line. Alright, so now what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, and I want you to do number 5 and number 6. Like I said, pause the video, you cheaters, and I want you to try to do number 5 and number 6 by yourself, and then come back and check yourself before you wreck yourself. So glad that you paused your video, guys. Okay, let's see how you did. So I've got a y-intercept of 0, negative 3. That's my starting point. So go over 0, go down 3. This is a negative. And now I'm going to go down 2, rise, down 2 over 5. So down 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 points. All I need is 2 points to make a line, but I've got 3 of them. You're welcome for giving you an extra one. There's your line. Again, easy way to check yourself, guys, is this is a negative slope because my graph, even though this line is not very straight, I know Coach Sapp sucks at being an artist, even though it's not very straight, that graph is going down, that line's going down. So let's look at our slope. That negative means that my line should be going down. As I read the graph left to right, just like I would read a book, the graph is falling, which means I need to have a negative slope, and I do. Easy way to check yourself. As I'm reading the graph of these, I read from left to right, the graph is going up, which again, all those 3 were positive slopes. Alright, and then last one, y equals negative 3x. Okay, but now, what's out here? There's no number. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Just like we talked about with direct variation yesterday, guys, if there's no number here, that means it's basically a 0, right? So the b is equal to 0. And again, b is a point, so I've got the point 0, 0. Because again, b is your y-intercept. Now let's go back up here. Any y-intercept is going to have the point 0, b, whatever b is. Because I'm not going over any, I've got to stay on the x-axis. So I go over 0, but I also go up 0 because there's no number here. So guess what? I'm going through the origin. There's your starting point. And again, your slope is a negative 3. So m equals negative 3. But again, any whole number is over 1. So I'm going to go down 3 over 1. Down 3 over 1. Down 3 over 1. Now we connect our points. Boom, 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 boom. Hope you did fantastic, guys.